it's Brian. How you doing today? I got a question for you. Do you think that President Biden has brought back the soul of America? Well, I'm thinking that maybe he has not brought back the soul of America at home, or even the perception of it abroad. Um, I think at home, we've had an increase in crime. We can't even take care of our own borders. We can hardly help the people that are coming across illegally, and we aren't giving that much respect to the ones that did get across illegally by having this more competition. We got to have our own kids doing some of the work, whether it's picking crops, get them out of the high school on summer vacation, have them pick. And, we have to have a work ethic for the folks that are here to appreciate what real work is. I think it's a shame when here in Las Vegas, there's kids that'll carjack or steal a car and then make a video how fun it is to run over a bicycler and then finally kill a bicyclist. So now they think it's funny even when they're in court. Thinking, oh, well, we're not going to get in trouble for it. And then at the same time, it's horrible when a kid whose friend, a smaller friend, has his headset stolen at school, and he sees this little guy getting in trouble with a group of kids and says, look, I'll help you out. And he gets his friend, says, I'll help you. And he says to the other guys, oh, let's get this headset back. Don't be a thief. And then somebody chooses him off, and he thinks, oh, I'm only going to be fighting for the headset for my friend for just one guy. And it turns out 10 people are going to get him when he's down and bash his head in. And then the whole idea that white folks have been the most horrible to the black people maybe gives him a pass to say, well, he's a white guy and we're all black, we'll just bash his head in. And now if it had been reversed, it'd probably make headline news, and President Biden would say, well, this is more discrimination. Well, we're all in this together, and there's good and bad folks, and we're each going to stand in our own shoes when the time comes. But as far as us bringing back the soul of America, well, you got to have the carrot and the stick. The crime rate, I think it's in Salvador, has dropped drastically ever since this mega prison's been opened up, and he's not making it fun for the people in the mega prison. So maybe we need to have the courts not just let people out on the streets again, especially if, they were brought up in a situation where they're disadvantaged. We need to get the advantages out there. Now, if a school, which I think auto shop, wood shop, metal shop, and training and nursing and agricultural studies, if sometimes some of the schools in the rougher areas get those kind of programs, but it doesn't mean the people in those programs should change and say, I'm going to take advantage of this. I'm going to get out of my bad situation. So we got to have the carrot and the stick, and we need morality. The best way to get morality in school is to show films of heroes, true heroes, like Christina Noble, who helps has an orphanage in Vietnam to help kids that have been orphaned, and get them into some schools and playgrounds and a normal life, so that they can be productive people. And then there's Sam Childers in the Sudan. He's a Christian that's got an orphanage there, and he's a machine gun preacher. The documentaries, those kind of documentaries should be shown. I think things that, are the moral of the story, like whether it's Little House on the prairie or highway to heaven. Like Michael Landon, some of the moral stuff, that gets people to think, well, gosh, if I was in this person's shoes, what would I do? Now, I don't know, by pushing, I think it's all right. I agree that Israel should have a country and that they should be able to protect themselves. And I abhor and I cannot believe how horrible, the October 7th attack was, and what some of the things that happened are just beyond me. But at the same time, it started long before that. So the projection of, well, we'll just give you more arms and you can continue carpet bombing, and then I don't know if that's the best thing. I kind of have a feeling that we should say, hey, maybe we should be more supportive and go with the UN, United Nations. Now, the first ambassador of the United Nations that went to Israel and kind of drew the lines and was trying to mediate, and also to be able to get some of the Arabs that were displaced some kind of compensation and the ability to move back. So that way we could get the Jews out of this horrible situation. This man was a Swedish man. They call him Count Bernadotte. And he was the head, a few years earlier, before 1948, of the Red Cross. And he used his position to negotiate during the war with Heinrich Himmler to save thousands of Jews. So you would think the Jews would appreciate what he was trying to do. But he was assassinated, and which was not good, on the September 17th of 1948 by the Fatherland Front, or the Stern Gang of Israel. So the very man that was during the war saving people, Jews, from concentration camps, using his position as head of the Red Cross, and then one that's trying to negotiate something that's equitable, is assassinated by a radical Israeli. But that's not the only person that radical Israelis assassinated. They even assassinated their own prime minister. A man named Yitzhak Rabin, who became prime minister in 1992 and then was murdered November 4th in 1995 by Yigal Amir, an extremist Jew opposed to the Oslo Accords. Now, Yitzhak Rabin's widow kind of blames Netanyahu. And naturally, there was a reaction from the Palestinian terrorists. So then, and then that helped get Netanyahu back into more power. So it's not good. And I was hoping, that we'd have some people here that would say, look, we want a more neutral, objective situation, and give more power to the United Nations. And so I was thinking that Tulsi Gabbard would be good, but she seems to be kind of gone over to where, hey, you know what, the thing that happened was horrible, let's just continue the bombing or whatever it takes to get Hamas. So I'm sorry that happened, and I hope we get somebody that's good. And I kind of, if some of the people, that we have that are running for president, I kind of liked one. He says, "Oh, I don't think we should support them politically, but not financially." I kind of agree with that, but if you don't have a good record, you don't care about the environment, well, then I got a problem with that too. And I'm hoping, I'd like to see a Native American, because the Native Americans have stood up. There was a group, that fought George Washington, and lost more of their folks than any of the settlers, and they fought for our side. So, and yet, a few years later, when one of the French folks that was fighting with George Washington and helping came, and he says, well, what happened to your brother in arms, and he says, oh, we took their land too, and it's and I understand when there's a farmer that just left the oppression of Europe and was back in that time and gets scalped, but then who started scalping? There's another interesting thing. So, and then to say that the Germans are all bad, well, heck, there was a German group, was the only group of settlers that kept their peace treaty with the Indians. Everybody else did the opposite. So we can't say anything too much about one group or another. We're all going to stand individually on our own accord and our assets. So I don't know. I kind of like Tara Houska. She stood up to the stopping the tar sand transfer, but I was hoping she'd get with Tulsi Gabbard, but maybe I'm in fantasy land. We need somebody that cares about the environment, that looks forward to being creative on how to get energy, and lets the United Nations take some of the expense that we're just can't be throwing all our money. We could support United Nations. I think they're objective and they take into account a lot more perspectives. So I think the Jews should have a homeland, but I don't think they need to assassinate somebody that was trying to help draw the lines up that they didn't like when he was somebody trying to be objective and saved thousands from concentration camps during the war. And I don't think they should be even, the radical ones should murder their own president because he kind of goes for the Oslo Accords. So there's got to be a little more give and take, and we'll have to hopefully get somebody that will bring back and show that the soul of America is getting healthy and not degrading. We've got all the smash and grab going on. I think we need to help the young people, especially in places that are underprivileged, are underemployed, have lower wages. Get them the training for the things that we'll need, especially if we start making more things here instead of in China. We'll need people that can do that. And if some people that are minorities are making more than some people that were majorities or at one time or are still, then I think that's great. That just means we're all Americans and we're being productive. So that's what I think we need to go. Have a good day, and I'll catch you on the rebound.